Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up, we got a content creator mock draft that I'm excited to dive into. Today's show is presented by Manscaped, and if you haven't already, use code Manscaped or use code Raiders at manscaped.com for 20% off, and you're going to be able to get free shipping. If you're an old man like Wasted and you still need to be able to get in those hard-to-reach places without pulling your back, Manscaped's got all the awesome products to help make sure that even Wasted and Graphk are still getting a little bit lucky. So coming up here on the show, I asked 8 different Raiders content creators to help me with a mock draft. I gave one person each a pick, and essentially I sold them on every single one of the, hey, this guy was taken, now you're on the clock. This guy was taken, now you're on the clock. I sent them DMs, I sent them pictures, and I got reasons why they decided to pick each person they did. If you're wondering, well, Mitch, who the hell made all the picks? I'm glad you asked. Here is our Raiders 2024 draft picks. Round 1, Graphk Raider. Round 2, pick 44 was Sanjit. Wasted talent at 77. Round 4, my guy SamoanRaider. In round 5, Hammer House. Round 6, Honcho Raider. Round 7, Kenny King Jr. And then round 7, 229, my guy Tristan Kuhn, or some of y'all know him as Scout. If you want to see more content like this, hit that like button. To me, I've been doing a show like this at least once a year, and I wish more Raiders content creators would, get together, have those fun conversations, because it's tough being a content creator. It's tough making free content every single day, and I want us to be able to work together a little bit better. Now, obviously, the people that I have picked are people that I have been able to build awesome relationships with, and if somebody watches the show and you make a YouTube show or you got a podcast, you're like, hey, Mitch, I would love to be a part of this next year. I want to be able to do more than just one of these even this year. So if you want to see more content like this, and if you want to see us be more together as a nation, hit that like button. I'm really trying to sell this one to my bosses. So here we go. Let's go through this NFL mock draft. Picks 1 through 6. Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Olu Fashanu go off the board. Drake Maye, trade up here for the Minnesota Vikings. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes off the board at 5. Malik Nabers to the New York Giants at 6. From 7 to 12, Dallas Turner, Joe Alt, Jared Verse, Roma Dunze, and because Arizona ended up trading back, they get Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia. And then the Denver Broncos off the clock here, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan, with Sean Payton. So that means Graphk Raider is on the clock, and this is going to be the pinned comment here. Who should Graphk go with at number 13? Based on the picks that have already been made, y'all are about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer of who Graphk should pick. With the 13th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, Graphk Raider has selected Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. Now, with every single one of these picks, I asked them to give me a paragraph, maybe 2. I'm wondering if Graphk was just on a typing spree, because homie really laid into this one. So here's why Graphk ended up going with the corner out of Alabama. I believe Tom Telesco would like to go right tackle at 13, Fuaga, Latham, Mims, but as the defense becomes our strength, once Josh McDaniels was let go in 2023 season, I believe AP and Graham get their guy Terrion Arnold at 13 to continue to build on the defensive side of the football. With Mahomes and Herbert within the division, you need a potential shutdown corner opposite of Jack Jones. With Wilkins being our major pickup in free agency, it's apparent we are now a defensive-minded football team. Arnold fits the Raiders' mold. Keep an eye on Wynyan Mitchell as another option at 13 as well. Telesco drafting Arnold could potentially remove the black eye of him, once paying J.C. Jackson big money in L.A. My grade for the Raiders and for Graphk going with Arnold here, I'm going to give it an A grade. And the way that I grade is A, I loved it. B, it's good. C, it's average. D, it's bad. F, it's a fail. I'm also going to be giving out some A pluses, A minuses, Bs, all this type of stuff here. But I think it's a great fit. He's my number 1 corner that I think that the Raiders should go out and get based on overall fit with AP, Patrick Graham. So Graphk, salute to you for getting us off here to a good start. If you're looking for more mock drafts here around the silver and black, it's always about just win, baby. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. That way, anytime I drop a video, y'all get notified. Like, I know this. I know my guy, okay, Sanjit's getting booty calls left and right. And when he gets a booty call, bang, he's got that text message right there, and he's got it. I want y'all to think of the Raiders Report as that booty call. When you get that message that goes, oh, I'm going to click on that. Bang, you're clicking on it. Plus, we're going to be live for the 2024 NFL Draft picks before you see them up on TV. Speaking of Sanjit, he's on the board here on the clock at number 44. And I see a lot of people down in the live comments are like, oh, Sanjit, he's going to be going with an offensive lineman. That's kind of what he's known for, and I think he's one of the best in the biz, one of the most intelligent people in the industry at offensive line talent. With the 44th pick in our Raiders mock draft, Sanjit is going to go with quarterback Bo Nix out of Oregon. Now, I already told Sanjit, I'm like, man, I'm not going to like this pick. And I got to give him his flowers. He was like, people are soft. It's okay if you want to rip into me. And he still stuck to his guns. And that's why I freaking love Sanjit. That guy is a gangster. So this is what he had to say about Bo. Bo is everything you want in an NFL quarterback. On tape, he has shown us he has the ball placement and accuracy to make every pass. At the same time, he can play within a structured offense, something not all college quarterbacks can do. Nix is also very athletic and has shown us he has the ability to consistently create a trait that the Raiders' current quarterbacks do not have. Now, if you watch the show, you already know. I'm going to give it an F grade. I do not think that the Raiders can afford to draft Bo Nix. I think that he is a guaranteed bust in Las Vegas based on his skill set, based on his talent, and based on him simply just saying that he couldn't handle the pressure at Auburn in the SEC. It's why he went to Oregon. If you can't handle the pressure of Auburn, I don't know how you're going to be able to handle the pressure of the Raiders, the NFL, and Raider Nation. If you want to see a more outlined video of why the Raiders cannot afford to draft Bo Nix, and shout out to the real ones out here. Might date myself a little bit. I'm a 93 baby. How many people know what this is? Because I don't even know if Chugs knows what this is. Only the real ones out there. My mom used to put this on everything. Mr. Yuck, salute to you. Let's go to round 3, pick 77. One person who I know for a fact knows who Mr. Yuck is. It's Wasted. Wasted's been around, I'm pretty sure, before the Raiders were even a team. I think at that time when Wasted started doing content, they were known as the Oakland Seniors. But you know what? I don't care how old you are out there. This is a sponsor that I want all y'all to pay attention to. And there's a lot of times, man, I make jokes. I say certain things. I love Manscaped because Manscaped has always allowed me to be exactly who I am. Manscaped is the sponsor that I think Raider fans should pay attention to because this is them, because Raider fans want to be them. And that's what Manscaped allows us to do. And this month, they are totally changing the game. So not only is Manscaped sponsoring the Raiders Report, did you know one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst men aged 15 to 35. With April being National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, our friends over at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. Visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use promo code Raiders for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. In addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfortable and easy grooming, Manscaped is committed to raising awareness and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. This is why they will be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls by going to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny educational check yourself video. And while you're at it, grab 20% off plus free shipping with code Raiders, because like a famous American philosopher once said, take care of your chicken, your balls, and your mentals. And seriously, men between the age of 15 to 35, you should check your balls every day, making sure everything's okay. Now, a guy like Graphk, Wasted, that are in their 40s, maybe don't have to worry about it as much. But if you're watching this show right now, I just want you to be aware of everything at all points. Plus, their male grooming products are the best in the biz. Code Raiders, manscaped.com. Shout out to Manscaped for hooking us up here. All right, let's go now to round 3, pick 77. Wasted Talent is on the board, and I was a little bit nervous when I sent Wasted when he had to make his picks, because I know Wasted goes to bed at like 7:30, and he gets up at 4 like most men in their 60s do. And at pick 77 in round 3, he's going to go with Peyton Wilson, linebacker out of NC State. And I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite picks, if not the best pick in this mock draft. I'll also say that I don't think there's any way in hell Peyton's going to fall to pick 77, but maybe some teams are afraid of some of the injury history, and if this ends up happening, I'm going to be streaking with my balls hanging out thanks to Manscaped. They're going to be looking great because I'm going to be going through the halls of Chat Sports here screaming that we got Peyton Wilson, especially if we get him in round 3. Why did he end up going with the NC State linebacker? New Raiders general manager Tom Telesco and coach Antonio Pierce, former linebacker, have stated that the team will be a defense-led football team, so it would be fitting for the Raiders to select Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State. Wilson, who stands at 6'4" and weighs 235 pounds, is a freak athlete who ran the fastest 40 time for linebackers at this year's Combine in true Raider fashion, clocking in at 4.43. In college, Wilson was highly productive with a total of 402 tackles, 48 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 13 passes defended, 7 interceptions, and 15 sacks. He was also a unanimous All-American, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and a first-team All-ACC selection in 2023. Wilson's skill set and mindset will fit perfectly with what the Raiders are building, making their defense downright scary, adding this explosive every-down linebacker to Patrick Graham's scheme. Wilson has the potential to be a future Pro Bowl player. I'm telling you right now, he will be a Pro Bowl player if he ends up staying healthy. My grade on this one is an A+. He's the best linebacker in this draft. He's the perfect fit for Patrick Graham. I would have given an A if you would have gotten him at 44. Because we're able to get him here at 77, I don't see how you don't give this anything but an A+ grade. Let's go to round 4, 112. My guy, SamoanRaider. And tell me how many people were watching the show when the Maye legs happened. That's how old school this is, right? Samoan here on the clock, round 4, pick 112. He's going to go on the offensive side of the football, and this is a player that I've talked about, and I've even said I believe is the most likely to be drafted at the wide receiver position. He's going to go with Brendan Rice out of USC, the son of Jerry Rice. 45 catches, 791 yards, 12 touchdowns last season with the Trojans. You put him next to Devontae Adams, Trey Tucker, and Jacoby Myers. Good luck trying to stop that offense, including with Michael Mayer. Why did Samoan go with Brendan Rice? Here's the reason. With the Raiders releasing Hunter Renfrow, that leaves the wide receiver 3 spot wide open for someone to take. And with free agency coming and going, I doubt the Raiders bring in anyone at this point of the offseason. So to me, you're able to add a little bit more depth here. On top of that, Samoan said the NFL draft is right around the corner, and there are plenty of young receivers the Raiders could pick up with their wide receiver Brendan Rice still available at 112. It was a no-brainer pick. He's got all the tools to be a star in this league with size and athleticism. Brendan would complement this wide receiver room perfectly alongside Tay, Jacoby, and Tucker. It's also a plus that he's the son of Raiders Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. For me, I'm going to give this one a B+ grade. It's not that I don't love the pick. I like this pick a lot. I think Rice is a good fit with the Raiders. I've also said if the Raiders take any receiver in this year's draft, the one that I believe is the most likely is Rice, because one of the things that the Raiders are doing right now, and you see with some of their coaches, they're looking for player coaches that have some of those ties previously. Rice obviously has a lot of ties with his dad, and I do think knows how he's going to be able to make it. The reason why I'm giving this a B+ is because there were other players available in this mock that I would have rather we ended up going with based on other bigger time needs, like offensive tackle, right tackle especially, was one spot that I would have rather gone, but I'm okay with this pick. I gave it a B+. Let's go to round 5 at 148. With a name like Hammer, you know for a fact he's using Manscaped. And coming up, I'm going to tell you who Hammer drafted at pick 148. But if you guys want to give these dudes a follow on X, Twitter, I put their Twitter handles also in the description of this video. You can find all of them. All you got to do is copy, paste this, and you're good. They're providing Raiders content. I think Raider fans might be some of the most spoiled fans out there right now with the amount of good, consistent content on a regular basis. Some of these are my favorite. I'm sure we're going to be able to add more as the season goes on. But shout out to all of them for taking time out of their day to help me make a video here on the Raiders Report. Let's go to round 5, pick 148. Hammerhouse ends up selecting Ray Davis, running back out of Kentucky. And this is my number 1 running back that I target in round 5. I love the value here. I think he's going to be a hell of a back in the NFL. He fits exactly what AP, this running system, wants to do, power run style. But I was like, Hammer, you got to tell me why you're going to roll with Ray Davis. He said, Ray Davis, granted, we did get a bit of a swing back in Madison via free agency. The Raiders want to run heavy offense and depth at running back. Davis possesses vision, blocking, and one-cut ability that can make him a potential starter for the silver and black. I'm going to give this one an A- grade because I do think it's terrific value, and he is going to be a good fit in this offense. I'll say, I don't know how much work he might get in year 1. If it's Zamir, Madison, and Ray Davis, this definitely hurts the chances of a guy like Sincere McCormick maybe making the roster. However, I'll also say, this gives you, the Raiders, the ability to be able to evaluate talent and say, all right, Madison, thanks for helping us out this year. We'll see you later next year. And then you're going into the next season with Ray Davis and Zamir White, two very solid backs. I had to give it an A- grade. I love the pick, but based on value, Ray Davis in round 5 at pick 148, A- compared to Peyton Wilson, A+ 77. So very good picks. It just had to separate the value there a little bit. Let's go to round 6. Honcho Raider at 208. And at this point of the draft, I'm always looking for upside. I'm looking for guys that I think might also be able to help me out a little bit. Special teams, solid depth, and I like the depth here that Honcho was able to get. Round 6, he's going to go with Caden Wallace, offensive tackle from Penn State. A lot of the conversation has been on left tackle Olu Fashanu, who's probably going to be a top 15 pick, right? Caden is a little bit more of a project player. 6'5", 341 pounds, allowed 1 sack this past season, and I like the move. I will also say, if you put Caden Wallace up against Dalton Wagner, that's a hell of a tackle battle to watch this offseason. The reason why Honcho ended up selecting Wallace is because great fundamentals and technique while playing with a higher motor. He has a great ability to get to the second level to find and land on linebackers and run blocking. Needs some work in pass blocking, but does flash the potential with good arm length and fast punch to reach pass rushers. He also versatile enough to play elite tackle or guard in the NFL. Solid backup with upside as a starter down the road. And I do like James Craig. I think he's one of the better offensive line coaches out there. Like, it's going to be hard replacing Carmen Brasillo. I am going to give this one a B+ grade because the Raiders do still need some extra depth there at the offensive line position. I'll also say that there's a lot of people that think Caden Wallace is going to be only an offensive tackle. I'm kind of in the boat of you could put him at offensive guard, OT, and if right now you said, hey, Dalton Wagner, you're going to be our backup right tackle. Hey, Caden Wallace, you're going to be that extra offensive guard prospect that just needs an extra year or two to build, and who knows, could end up being something special in a few years. Let's go to round 7, pick 223, Kenny King Jr., and I was very interested to see how these final round 7 picks would go because at this point, I just want to be able to find players that I think are best player available, and that's exactly what Kenny did here. He's going to go with Juwan Briggs, 6'2", 300-pounder defensive tackle from Cincinnati, who had 27 tackles, 2 sacks last season. And when I asked him, why'd you go with this pick, he said this: Briggs is built to play multiple gaps inside. His pass rush is a little to be desired, but he carries a ton of ferocity and pressure in the run game. With a more compact frame, Briggs can be considered to take on 1-4 gap and make lanes available for Crosby and Kuntz. Now, I think this is a good player, okay? And some people are going to see my grade here of a C, and they're going to be like, why do you hate Kenny King Jr.? I love Kenny. I want to have asked him to do this show. But this is an average move to me solely based on need. It's crazy, but I think right now the position I might be the most confident in for the Raiders is that defensive tackle room. Like, they have so many other players there where you have Wilkins, Adam Butler, John Jenkins. And on top of that, right, you got Nesta Jade Silvera, Marquand McCall, both players that the Raiders decided to give future contracts to. On top, you got Byron Young, Matthew Butler. It's a lot of defensive tackles. A lot of movement has to go around. Do I think this adds good competition? Yes, I do. I just would have went a different direction because of all the other defensive tackles that we already had on our roster. Let's go to round 7 now, 229, with my guy, Scout. And Scout's been a little bit of a busy bee, and I think he's just starting to realize the older you get, you know, you start being a little bit busier out there. One of the smartest people, though, one of the most well-connected in all of Raider Nation, and I love his pick here at 229, and it's Gabriel Murphy, the edge out of UCLA. So Murphy is a twin. He's got a brother, also played at UCLA, and this is one of my players that I continue to talk about and just saying, like, he's the real deal. Chugs is in the background going like this. I don't know if you guys know why. Former North Texas guy, but 38 tackles, 8 sacks this past season with the Bruins. Tristan, a.k.a. Scout, why'd you ended up going with the pick? The twin brother of Grayson Murphy, also at UCLA. Gabriel has torn up the college landscape since his time at North Texas. While undersized at only 6'2", 230, Murphy demonstrates insane bend and twitch off the edge, shown often in his 21.5 career sacks and 149 pressures, including 55 in 2023. He's got a strong lower body, good hand moves and burst, while defending the run at a strong level. The Raiders lack a fourth edge rusher after the initial 3, and adding a high upside, highly athletic pass rusher that can slide into certain packages and simply pin his ears back is never a bad strategy late. This one, I'm going to give an A+ grade, and it's simply because this is a dude that If I was somebody like Murphy, I would be like, I would love to go where Malcolm Kuntz went. And the reason why I say that is Malcolm was looked at as a player that nobody cares about, undersized, and people push him to the side. And then he just had 8 sacks in 9 games with Antonio Pierce. You look for a player that might be your Malcolm Kuntz replacement. Like, I want Malcolm to come back. I think everybody watching the show wants Kuntz to come back. He is going to be a free agent, and his price tag might go up if he has another great year. You have Murphy learn behind Malcolm for a year, and then do you hand him the keys to the car and say, hey, I need you to be that extra edge rusher? And I agree. You can never have too many edge rushers. I love this pick here. I love the value. He's my number 1 edge that I target in round 7. For that reason, I had to give it an A+ grade. All right, y'all, here's your opportunity. Grade this mock draft A, B, C, D, or F, and don't be afraid to take a screenshot of this one, post it on social media, and tag all the guys that were involved in it, because I want more people to make more content like this, because at the end of the day, I think Raider fans have the best content creators in the entire world, and we need to acknowledge them a little bit more. So grade this mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. And my grade on this one, I gave it a B grade, which I love this mock draft. I really do, minus the Bo Nix pick. Like, that's the only one that I'll sit back here and I'll look at and I go, damn it, like, we still have a need at quarterback. I don't think Bo's going to work out, and I don't want to focus so much on that, because if you still told me we get Terrion Arnold, Peyton Wilson, some of those other solid players that we got later on in the draft, like, we're building this thing the right way. We're building this thing going forward. That defense is going to be scary, scary good. It's a good mock. It just had the opportunity to be great. I'm not a Bo Nix fan. If you are a Bo Nix fan, you're probably giving this one an A+ grade. So on, so forth. Again, shout out to every single person that participated in this. I had a lot of fun doing it. And if you want to see more content like this on the Raiders Report, I need you to click that like button right now.